Nice. Alright, made it to the lake. Definitely not where I wanted to cast, but okay. That's why. Brakes just a smidge. So really all I'm doing here, I've just got a pretty shallow diving crankbait, but I should be sitting in probably 6 or 7 foot of water. So this gets down to 5 feet, so it should put me right about where I want to be. I'm gonna kind of start this shoreline here. I'm gonna cast towards it and then drive it back out. And we're gonna see if that produces a bite, and if not, we'll go further out a little ways to where all that submerged timber is. And there's a couple other areas of submerged timber on this lake that we're gonna hit. I'm just bass fishing today. I'm starting out throwing a crankbait. If that doesn't work, I might switch to a jerkbait or some kind of other search bait. But right now I think this little bluegill pattern should do good. Winter time is coming up quick. These bass are going to be feeding up while it's still a little bit warm. I'm just hoping they're active enough to hit a moving bait today. But if not, I brought my spinning reel and we'll throw a Texas rig around, maybe a Ned rig. I've been trying to throw stuff other than the Ned rig recently. I feel like I rely on it too much. We're just going to try and break probably the southern side of the lake down today. Like I said, it's 9 o'clock. I don't have all the time in the world to fish because I got to go to work tonight, but... Oh, yep, there's something. Ah, he came off. Oh well. That was a bass. Good start to the morning. That tells me they're around somewhere. It set the hook very good on that. Alright, that was a good way to start the morning though. At least I know they're hitting moving baits. And he was pretty much right where I expected him to be. I haven't had a good day of bass fishing in a while. The turtle. So I'm hoping today will be a little bit different. If I can get a pattern going on the lake up here. This is just a man-made reservoir lake, but it's got pretty good depth change. It's got good submerged cover. I just don't have a fish finder, so it's hard for me to find the cover sometimes. Or structure rather, not cover. But I'm hoping today will be a little bit different because I found that map online that has the contours of the lake and the depth. I didn't realize this lake dropped off so severely at this point. I mean, I say severely, it probably drops down to about 10 feet, 10, 12 feet. But it drops pretty quickly. I'm fishing the drop off. It basically goes from 1 foot to 7 foot very quickly. So that's all I'm really doing is I'm just dragging this down along that drop off. And that's where that first bass was. It's got a little bluegill imitation crankbait. Ouch. Where are all the bass at? I don't know why I'm complaining. I just got that bite maybe 5 minutes ago, so it's not like it's super slowed down. But conditions are pretty good today. There is a chance of rain, but I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. But it is a nice overcast day. It's relatively warm. It's probably in the low 60s, which, welcome to December in Florida. It goes from being 60 to 70 degrees to dropping down sometimes into the 20s at night, and then it'll get back up to 30 degrees, and then it'll drop back down to 20 degrees, and Florida's very all over the place when it comes to wintertime. There's a lot of cold days, and then there's a lot of mild days, depending on how severe the winter is. But I feel like this is going to be a fairly mild winter this year, because it's been pretty mild all fall. But, I mean, the water's a little cold here, but it's obviously enough that they're still hitting crankbaits, so I'm not going to complain about that. But it is a very pretty day. It's quiet. It's a Monday morning. I have the advantages that I work nights, so I can come out and fish a lot of mornings. I just have to wake up. But it's always worth it when I do. So I got out here a little bit late this morning because I had an appointment I had to go to, but it's just after 9 o'clock now, so I'm doing all right. I've got quite a few hours to fish as long as the rain holds off. But I'm just going to keep fishing this drop off along the shore. I'm probably going to work my way around the shore, fishing the drop off. And if that doesn't turn out, I'll go out more towards the middle. But I'm hoping that one bite isn't going to be my only bite for the day. Sometimes that's how this lake goes. Sometimes you'll get them early, and then not much is going to happen. But honestly, I expect the fishing to pick up as the day goes on because the temperature is going to rise a little bit. I'm hoping that'll make these fish be a little bit more active. One big advantage to this lake is it's electric motor only. So it's really good to fish from my kayak because I don't have to worry about boats screaming around. This lake gets fished pretty regularly. I mean, there's people up here all the time, but it doesn't get fished super heavy because it's electric motor only. A lot of people just don't mess with this place. They don't even come up here, but I've always had good luck at this lake. I catch bass pretty frequently up here. The biggest bass I've ever caught was out of this lake. I actually caught that on an ultralight. That's the first video on my channel. If y'all haven't seen that yet, I would highly recommend it. It's from well over a year ago, and it's not the best quality footage in the world, but it's a pretty good video. Now that I'm out of that wind, it actually feels pretty nice right through here. Got a little bit of block. I don't throw crankbaits very often. I don't have a lot of confidence in them. It's a bait I'm trying to use more to gain more confidence in. I'm trying to be better about using moving baits and staying away from my Texas rig finesse stuff, because the problem is I know I can catch them that way. So that's the way I usually catch them. I get discouraged throwing anything else because I'm not catching fish, but that first bite this morning was a good sign. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Like I said, a little bluegill imitation. Bass should be feeding up for wintertime. They should be hitting bluegill. Should be hitting shad. Which I believe shad is the primary forage in this lake, but I know they eat plenty of bluegill as well. So alright, I'm out of the wind, so I'm not drifting quite as much. But I think I'm gonna start casting a little deeper. I might go over there. There's pads and stuff over there that provide good cover. There's probably some bluegill hanging around there, so might be able to pull a bass or two. Alright, still no bites other than that first one, but I've probably only been out here like 20 minutes, so can't really worry too much about that. Move out a little bit deeper and fish this submerged timber. See if I can get anything to hit on the crankbait out here. Might have to switch up to a deeper diving crankbait, but this is the only bluegill pattern I have. The other is a shad pattern. And it doesn't dive too much deeper. I think it's 2 to 6 feet. This one's 1 to 5. I'm seeing all kinds of submerged structure here. See, that's what I'm talking about right there, is that there's a bunch of submerged timber that creates structure in a good portion of this lake. Like I said, this is a man-made lake, so they put stuff in here before they flooded it. This lake's something like 318 acres. It's the biggest one I have around me, and it's the one I have the most success at whenever I fish. But a lot of times when I'm up here, I'm throwing ultralight stuff and catching teeny tiny little bass, which is a blast, don't get me wrong, but today's about bigger fish. I've been watching a lot of Greg Blanchard on YouTube. He's a guy out of California. He does a lot of kayak bass fishing and bass fishing tournaments. And he's just, watching his videos just makes me want to catch bass, man. I want to catch him on big boy baits. I want to use the moving baits instead of all my finesse stuff like I usually use. But I feel like there should be bass holding on to this structure. Ooh, that was a little bit of a bite there, or I hit a log or something. So I do have both of my bass rods with me today. They're both Abu Garcia Vendetta rods, and they're both Abu Garcia Revo reels. The bait caster I have is the left-hand retrieve. It's the high-speed one. And the spinning reel I have is the Revo X40. The 40 is a little bigger than what I typically throw for finesse gear, but it's what they had available when I bought it, and I fell in love with the reel the first few times using it, so I'm not going to switch up to a 30 or a 35 or anything like that. I'm going to stick with the 40. I've got my spinning gear spooled up with 10-pound, I believe it's Power Pro, or no, it's the Yozuri braid, so it's Yozuri high-vis braid, and then I've got a fluorocarbon leader to that, and on this setup, my bait cast, I've just got 12-pound fluorocarbon straight through. You know what? I am going to throw the worm around for a second, just to see what this looks like here. Oh yeah, I forgot I had my leash on. Let's see if anything's hanging around these couple stumps. It's got a little Z-Man finesse worm one there in the PB&J color. Oh, wow, that's sinking real slow. Okay. That's fine, I just need to know that it's sinking real slow. Might want to throw a weight on this. I think this is falling a little too slow for what I'm doing. There's structure all through here though. Oh, there's a fish. Ooh, not a bad bass. Not a huge bass by any means, but not a bad bass. Ooh, he swallowed that pretty deep though. All right. Okay. So I hooked this guy a little deep. He's bleeding, but I don't think he's gonna be too bad off. I think he'll survive. See if we can warm him up a little bit here. Go off. There he goes. Okay, he swam away, so let's pick the moving bait back up, see if they'll do anything with it. So if the crankbait bite doesn't pick up, I'm either going to switch to a jerkbait or maybe just a paddle tail. Swim bait, something a little bit more subtle of a presentation. Alright. Love them or hate them. I like some of the Guggen baits. I really like the Bandito bug. For a soft plastic, I really like the trench hog for a soft plastic. They both work really well. I like their hard baits a lot too. Can't even lie. I do like their hard baits. People say their baits are expensive. People say their soft baits are not durable enough. People say a lot of things, but I like these baits. They work for me. So I'm going to keep using them. They're probably about 4 or 5 feet of water I think I'm sitting in right now. Maybe a little bit more than that. Okay. Switching it up yet again. Okay, haven't had anything going since that worm bite. Still trying the crankbait, still hopeful. But I don't know. I have to switch up. Ooh, there's a fish. There's a fish. Oh, tell me I'm recording. I better be recording. I'll be so mad if I'm not recording. That's a good one, too. Daggum. Boop, 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 boop. Come on. There we go. Nice. All right. I really hope I'm recording, but I'm pretty sure I am. All right. I had a pretty good bass, actually. Wow. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, one more look. Wow, that's a pretty chunky bass, too. All right, bud. You about ready to go? Off he goes. All right, good deal. Oh, I see. There's a downed tree right through there. That's what he was sitting on. This crankbait should dive down to a... Well, that's unfortunate. Rip. That's not coming out. Yeah, that's not coming out. Okay. So what just happened there was I caught my crankbait in the water as I was casting and just threw a bird's nest that is not coming out anytime soon. That reel is shot, and that's probably going to be the end of my trip because that makes me mad. So